Welcome back, everyone, to another second stimulus package and second stimulus check update. I was going to do some election coverage today. However, we had some brand new discussions and recent talks, particularly from Nancy Pelosi at her weekly press conference. She had spoken out about the election and also discussed the next stimulus package. So I figured it was very imperative to cover that. Now we're inching closer to a winner. We're still slowly counting the votes. However, it's becoming more and more apparent who is going to be the winner of this election. But we will have weeks worth of litigations follow suit from the Trump campaign. Meantime, Republicans and Democrats are moving in opposite directions in regards to the next stimulus package legislation, which basically nixes any hopes for any more virus relief coming this year. Odds are starting to lower of new legislation coming this year. The Republican argument is that the Democrats' loss of House seats and upbeat jobs numbers indicate that Congress should approve a smaller package during this lame duck session set to begin just next week. But House Speaker Nancy Pelosi argued that her continued party's House majority and probable White House win, as well as a spike in infections throughout the country, argue for a more robust package rather than the slimmer versions that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has put forth. We have seen the Republicans try to implement a smaller package. We've seen $500 billion that has been rejected now twice by the Democrats that called for just a stimulus check. Some of the legislations did not even include a stimulus check. Democrats are still going for that larger package, especially now that they have won the White House and maintained the House. She explained at her news conference today, "It doesn't appeal to me at all because they still have not agreed to crush the virus. That isn't anything that we should even be looking at. It wasn't the right thing to do before." Meantime, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell told reporters in Kentucky that the latest jobs numbers were, quote, "a stunning indication of dramatic comeback of this economy." We got some brand new numbers just dropped today from the Bureau of Labor Statistics just days after the election. We got some new data, and we learned that the unemployment rate dropped to just 6.9% now. Bodes a lot better than the numbers that were earlier in the year. And that was the sixth straight month of decline. And 638,000 non-farm workers were added to payrolls during October. There were also 1.5 million fewer unemployed workers than the month prior. Now, under normal circumstances, Trump and the campaign and his supporters would be tweeting and crying out these numbers, posting them all over social media. But that's not the case. No one even cares about these numbers now, as they're solely focused on trying to take this election back to them. But McConnell did express positive sentiment about these numbers. He said that the jobs numbers support, quote, "the argument that I've been making for the last few months that something smaller rather than throwing another $3 trillion at this issue is more appropriate, with it highly targeted towards things that are directly related to the coronavirus." Interestingly, with the 24/7 news coverage constantly covering the election, it would almost appear as if the virus has gone away and there is no more pandemic. But you do have to remember that we just hit the highest number of cases in history, and that actually was a world record breaking, and we're still in the middle of a deadly virus. However, the report did show job growth slowing for the fourth month in a row, and unemployment is still nearly twice what it was back in February. Now, do remember that even though Biden is going to be more likely than not the winner, Trump is still president for the next couple months. And one of the core issues in the months-long pandemic aid talks is that Trump and the vast majority of Senate Republicans are in different places when it does come to relief package. Trump is calling for those higher numbers. He wants to do high as 1.6, 1.8, 1.9 trillion, and Republicans are reluctant to spend even more than $1 trillion. Trump even at one point said he'd be willing to spend more than the $2.4 trillion House Democrats included in their most recent aid package, whereas most Republicans want a smaller bill somewhere in the $500 billion to that $1 trillion range. Now, we are aware that in Trump's mind, he probably knows he's going to lose this election, but if he actually vocally expresses it and ultimately concedes, which would be crazy to see, whether or not Trump will negotiate if he loses his re-election bid is still a critical unknown factor. We don't know if he's willing to come back to the negotiating table if he knows he just lost the election. He could either walk away and not care anymore and just go out with a bang these last 2 months, or if he wants to actually do something and do a service for the American people, he could, in fact, start negotiating again for stimulus. Now, no major news network has actually called the race yet. We still don't have an official winner. However, with Biden now leading in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona, it's definitely looking like it's not in Trump's favor. But his votes are still trickling in gradually. The White House and House of Representatives and the Senate is still in limbo, as there's really no incentive to take action anytime soon in regards to stimulus. White House Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow finally spoke out in regards to stimulus, and he had said that the administration is open to negotiating a relief package, but he did differ from Trump's previous comments on the actual size and scope of the package. He had said that Senator McConnell, and for that matter President Trump, and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, and I, the others, we would like to negotiate a package. It would still be a targeted package to specific areas. We're not interested in $2 or $3 trillion. So Trump had previously called before the election, the weeks and days and months leading up to the election, that he would like to see those higher numbers and he would like to see a multi-trillion-dollar package. Now that he probably knows he's not going to win, he might just go for that smaller package just to ink that deal with Senate Republicans. But whether or not a deal will come before the new year is still remain to be unknown, but more updates will be coming right on this channel. If you did enjoy this video, give it a big thumbs up, smash the like button, just to help that YouTube algorithm. I do appreciate when you do that. And if you just go ahead and click that big red button, the subscribe button, also hit that notification bell as well. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one.